Hi everyone, it's Michael Qualls. I just thought I'd make you a little video, tell you how things are going down here at Lewis and Clark. And I made some notes, and I'd just like to read them to you so I don't forget anything. Introduce myself first. I guess I'm Michael Qualls. I've been teaching math at Lewis and Clark for about 20 years. And this year I'm teaching one group of algebra and 4 groups of pre-algebra, 8th graders that we want to be taking algebra next year. And of course, the algebra students, we want them to be taking honors geometry next year at the high school. During the first week of school, we spent some time making sure that all of our accounts work, making sure that we can sign into the accounts that we need to sign into, and just kind of getting familiar with each other, with the way that the class is going to roll, and some of our technology and computer programs that we're using. Some of those programs include Google Classroom, HRW, which has our online textbook, and then ST-Math. I think I'll show you Google Classroom first, since it's the one that we're going to use as a platform for delivering information, pieces of the textbook, worksheets, and videos that I make to your students if they're not in class with me. So I'll show you quickly here. I'll share a screen with you, and we'll look at a couple of those. So here's what our Google Classroom looks like. This is the algebra class. When they sign in, it'll look like this. When the pre-algebra class signs in, they will also, it looks just the same, just has a different title across the top. When you go into classwork, which is on the middle menu on the top, the classwork, it shows here that I have separated work in their classroom by date. So last week's stuff, or excuse me, this week's stuff, August 31st to September 4th, you can see that first assignment of the week is right here. The second assignment of the week is here. Now, if they're in class with me, they don't need to be working off of Google Classroom unless I tell them, hey, get on there and I've posted this and you need to work on this. If they're at home, they should be paying attention to what is going on this website. If they miss a week of school and they want to know what they should have been doing, this stuff is right here. Next week's assignments are not posted yet, but when they are, they will be posted under the week of September 8th to the week of, or September 8th to September 11th. Okay? Everything that I post in my classroom, I'm also posting on Google Classroom. So anything that I'm doing here, I'm also doing online. So if I make a video in class, I'm posting it online for the kids that are missing. Now, there are a couple of other things that we need to look at here. One of them is Clever. And if we, on all of your students' Chromebooks, there is a C right up here on their menu. And that menu, that C is for Clever. And when we go into Clever, Clever gives them these different pages that they can go into. The district page has a lot of stuff on it. Here's my page over here, MQuals. So I'll just go in there. And when you look at my page, I have 2 things that are posted here. One of them is ST-Math, and the other one is the HRW online textbook. Let's go into ST-Math. Go into ST-Math. See, Clever works to sign them in so they don't have to use their passwords elsewhere and get them on different platforms and different computers. Clever takes care of that for us. Now, if you look at ST-Math, for me, what I'm looking at here are my classes, and I'm not going to click on a class because it'll show you a student and their what they're working on and how well they're doing. But as a class, you can see that everyone is working, everyone has put some time in. The algebra class is not going to be required for ST-Math, but if they want to work on it, there's an account open, they can get on there and work on that if they'd like to. In fact, there might be a couple of cones that I make everybody in algebra work on later in the year, but not for right now. The pre-algebra kids all have an account with ST Math. We've all started and we're all working on it. You can see how much time we put in. Like today we put in 29 minutes for this, and then how many puzzles per week. This is an average for this class so far. And you can see their weekly averages over here. There are over 2,900 puzzles in the ST Math cones this year. Now there's no personal path and then a class path like we have done in the past, when the personal path is review and the class path is what we're actually supposed to be doing curriculum-wise in the 8th grade. This year, it's just 8th grade path. So it's just the information that we're going over in class. It pre and reteaches some of the stuff that I'm going over, and some of it we're going to be going over together in class. But I'm hoping that everyone can finish their path this year. Last year, I had 120 students, and 100 of them finished their path. So I'd like that to happen again. So that's ST Math. If we look at the HRW, this is their online textbook. So what I'm doing with their textbooks this year is I'm giving them the chapter. I'm keeping all textbooks in my classroom, and I'm ripping out the chapter that they need, and it's in a little folder in their backpack that they take with them every day, because I don't want them hauling around a big book all day, home and back and that. So I'm giving them their textbooks, or the chapter from the textbook that they need. They also have, it will be posted, the pieces they need will be posted on Google Classroom, and they have access to their student edition online. So I'm going to choose the 8th grade book, and we're going to look at the student edition. And they have a student edition online just like this. It looks just like their book when it comes up. It's just a digital copy of it is what it is. And oh, look, there's the volume of spheres. Well, this thing, you know, chapter 13, we can search by page here. So we can just, you know, if you need to be on page 125, put 125 in there, and here we go. Writing linear equations, start up, unpacking the standards, and there's lesson 5.1. Okay, so they have access to this through Clever. And Clever is available to them by going into this thing right here up on their top menu, right? And I think that's all the sharing I need to do. So I'll bring myself back up. There we go. I would like to talk to you about a couple of little things that might help your students and you through this year. Like I said, I'm keeping the textbooks, but they do have access to them online, and then I'm putting them in little folders. What that is to do, is to reduce the amount of touch that we're having in the room on certain things. I don't need everybody touching the textbook. So I will disinfect my hands, and then I'll rip all the chapters out and give them to the kids. Every time that I hand them paper, I disinfect my hands first, and then I hand the paper. If I'm giving out rulers, I disinfected the rulers, I wiped them down, I disinfected my hands before I did that, and then I handed the rulers out. So we're doing a lot of care. We're keeping distance in the classroom, we're keeping our masks on, we're keeping away from each other, and we're not touching each other's stuff. With that in mind, if you could get your kids a straight edge or a ruler, we're going to be using these things a lot. And if they had one in their backpack, it just made things just a little easier. I will still keep sanitizing these things every single day and handing them and cleaning them between classes and giving them to kids. But if they had one of their own, it would just make things a little easier. Something else that would make things easier for your student is a small pencil sharpener. So this is one, it's made out of metal. I think it's made out of magnesium or something. It's German made, it's probably pretty tough. They know their blades. I found this in a hobby store next to the pencils, next to the art pencils. I think it was like $1.50 or $1. And it just stays in my backpack. I always have a pencil sharpener with me. my pencil sharpener in the room has been taken off the wall because we're not supposed to be over there, everybody touching this thing and me trying to mess with that. So what we're doing right now is sanitizing individual small pieces like this. They're using them over the garbage, and then I get it back. Okay? If your student had one of these in their backpack with their pencils and their pen and their ruler, and it was all like in the same pocket, easy to find, like all the pencils and the thing for the pencils were in the same pocket, would be a little easier for your students. Also, when your students come to school, they need to have their ID cards with them. We've given each of them a lanyard. The easiest thing for this is when they're leaving the building to make sure they just take it off and put it in the same pocket every single day so they know it's there. It'd be nice if there was if when they got home, if you like, hey, put that thing in that backpack so it goes with you tomorrow, okay? A lot of kids, what they'll do is they'll do the same thing we do. We walk in, we drop our keys here, drop our bags here, we go in, you know, take tie off, whatever. That goes all the way to the hook in the closet, and then, you know, you've got things spread 3 or 4 places through the house. But when kids are leaving, they're not practiced at leaving the house with certain things. What they'll do is they'll come back right back through the house. They'll grab their backpack and whatever else they need, and they're gone. And the thing that they need to check in for lunch, check books out of the library, and for times of emergency, if we have to scan these things, this is gone. So it'd be nice if they got into the habit of putting it into the same pocket every single time that they took that backpack off, and this goes in there as well. 2 more things I'd like to mention about the backpack. Your students should be learning a little more about power management. This year, they have a great opportunity to learn about organization of their belongings and managing power in their phone and in their Chromebook. They should be charging their Chromebooks while they're sleeping. That probably shouldn't be done in their room, but they need a place to charge that Chromebook. What I would do, come home, I'd put this thing in my backpack and put my backpack in the same spot every day. And if I needed anything out of that backpack, I would bring it out, work right there. As it's done, put it back in the backpack. Take that computer out of that thing if I need it, put it up on the counter, plug it in, and then in the morning when it is charged, put it back in the bag, and I'm out the door with everything that I came in with. The other thing I would like to talk about with the backpacks is something that, you know, it's pretty sensitive for some, and I know that we have a wide range of different situations, living situations and family. Some are together and some aren't, and some kids are in the same house all the time, and some kids spend like a week at grandma's place and then a week at home, and then, you know, some are at dad's place for a week or 2, and then they're at mom's place for a week or 2. When that happens and the move happens, it is imperative that everything is in the backpack and the backpack goes with the child to that other home. And I really just mean this as respectfully as I possibly can request it of you. This is important. Last year when we did, you know, when kids move back and forth, it is a very, very common thing for them to say, oh, well, that book's at mom's place and I'm not going to be there for another week or so. And then they're just without a book. If that happens with the Chromebook, we're in pretty big difficulties with them. So please make sure when kids and clothing and stuff like that get moved to another household, please take the backpack as well. If we have difficulties with that, call me. I've actually stopped by a house that other people didn't want to stop by and got the stuff for the kids and brought it to school or brought it over to the other house. If things like that rise that are a little more difficult, call me and we'll see if we can take care of it. Okay? All righty. That's all that. I'd like to talk about something else that I know a lot of people are worried about. A lot of people are worried about how long can we stay in school? Well, right now it looks pretty good. The district's working with changing information, changing data, as you know, as the health situation in the county changes or in the school changes. we are forced to make decisions on things, and hopefully we'll just get to ride this out for a little longer, like the way we going. However, if we do change to distance learning, I will be your student's distance learning teacher. I will handle all instruction through Google Classroom, and they will have access to all their stuff that we've checked, and I will send them the piece of the textbook they need digitally. I will send them the worksheets that they need. I'll send them the information they need, and I will send them the video that they need. It'll be me teaching. I've made hundreds of videos. I'm very practiced at this. Make hundreds of videos of me teaching and post it online. I think it went very well last year when we left the building for distance learning. If we have to do it again, that's what we're going to do, is use Google Classroom. Okay? With that, there'll also be 2 or 3 assignments per week, and then there'll be a couple of Zoom meetings. Okay? If your student needs to stay home for a period of time, and we are still in the building together as a school, and your student needs to leave for a little while, Google Classroom is where they're going to find what we're doing while they're gone. I will contact you. I will send you an email and remind you and your student that they're supposed to be doing the stuff online. I will make videos. I'll post them. I'll have the assignments there. And if anything needs to be worked on, it's right there. Okay. If you come back and it's not done, we'll work through that when it happens. Okay. We'll do that if we have to. So right now, we're going to continue to distance ourselves in the room. We're putting our masks on when we can. We're disinfecting ourselves and our hands and things like that. And we're doing what we can to manage this situation. I would like also to say, these first 2 weeks with your kids have been incredible. With all the things that people worried about and whether the kids are going to go along with this, it's like your kids, your students, your kids, they've just been awesome. They've been fantastic. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. No one's fighting about the masks. They're wearing them when they're supposed to be wearing them. They've got their stuff with them all the time. They're polite. They're being nice to each other. Everything is going very, very well. Today we went through last week we went through all of those programs. They got online. They all checked in. They showed me they can do it repeatedly. They're adjusting to schedules very well. We are today and yesterday in class, we were going through some activities that were guided activities, and they're required. And every single one of my 100 students went through the process of completing those projects. Every single one of my students is working. We're all working on ST Math. ST Math is available every day of the year, and the whole school year is going to be on, and you can get to it from anywhere. So it's always available. I just want to tell you, your kids are doing the right thing when you're not around. And they're being very respectful. And I do not remember a calmer and more respectful and more, I just don't know how else to say it, just a more focused group of kids in the first 2 weeks of school. You would be very proud of them. I really apologize that we can't meet face to face. If you see me in the store, or your kids see me in the store and they recognize me, stop me. I'm a talker. I love to talk to people. I want to meet you. I'd love to tell you how well your kids are doing in school. Until then, I apologize that we're not in person. And I know that parent-teacher conferences have been put on hold, but I hope you're well. And thank you for watching this. The first thing I will do, if our situation changes, the first thing I will do is email every one of you and tell you what our situation is and what I know. Okay? All right. If you need anything from me, you have any concerns at all you have to do is email me back on this email, or you can call me 281-5954 is my classroom, or you can call the front office and they'll transfer you up to me. But please, if you have any concerns, go ahead and call me, and thank you again for watching this.